probably can't see it, but the sky is so red. There are signs in the sky everywhere, as we all know. And so much more is happening. And it's just that chaos before order happens. And I know this. And I just have to remember that I went through my own chaos before perceived order started taking place and I could function and manage again. And, that goes for bodily, mentally, spiritually, in every way. My whole being went through the purification over the last 3 years. I noticed that what healed me more than anything was the spiritual gains that I got along the way would heal me in every way, much faster than any supplements. And also prayer. Prayer to the Creator of all has gotten me through everything. When I was completely confused or terrified and had no answers, I would just tell myself to trust God's plan until I could get a grip mentally enough to walk through a deep prayer in my mind. And a lot of times that seems like that's what it took for me to get to that deep level of prayer, was to be brought to my knees. And that's only because I have been subjected to a death and destruction system, a system that's completely opposite of what God meant for us. So without making myself a victim, I definitely believe that the construct or matrix, or however you want to look at it, environment, surrounding that we live in as individuals and as a collective really makes an impact on each and every one of us as an individual and as a collective. And many of us are sensitive coming in, and it just doesn't work towards our innermost emotions and desires. It seems to work against it. And how it's been constructed over the last 6,000 years is mind-blowing. But we have all contributed to that. And it's just time to purify ourselves one by one so that we can live out the dreams and desires that we were born with, that we came here with, so that we can allow the spark in our heart to grow and to guide us. We all have it. Everybody has the divine spark of the true Creator in their heart. And so I don't think that it was the Creator's plan to make somebody come to their knees. It seems so scary and so unfair. And without pointing fingers and blaming, there was an aspect of greed and selfishness that took over and became one hive mind. And it became powerful, and we fed it. But it's time to just learn about what we can do to remove that from ourselves without having to continue to be in pain or agony or fear or despair or lacking hope or being confused or being brought down many roads of a labyrinth. I mean, there are many paths, but there is one truth, and that fundamental truth will set you free, and that is that the true creator is nothing but love and wants nothing but, sovereignty for yourself, and for you to just remember that everybody else feels the same way as you do inside, whether they look like it on the outside, whether they act the way that you think they should, whether you think you know something about them, without judging each other, remembering that everybody feels exactly the same inside. I mean, we're all human beings. We're all here to experience. And once we actually reconnect to source, which is what happens once you are purified of all of this satanic AI that it's become an artificial intelligence that just has infiltrated everything and everyone to a certain extent. But we can reprogram ourselves. We can reprogram our minds just like you can digitally with computers. Our brain, we've known for a long time that our brain works like a computer. So when you think of it on those terms, it can be overwhelming or scary, but we are sentient beings that are reconnecting to spirit and source. And until we reconnect to that spirit, we're not truly living. We're not truly able to manifest our happiness and joy and all of the things that we fundamentally feel, because we have that divine spark in our hearts. Everybody has it. And we are reconnecting to source now. And yes, it does take a purification. And yes, there was a lot of damage done. And, our choices didn't necessarily have everything to do with the damage that's done or what it's going to take individually to go through the purification process. I truly believe that once you wake up to the fact that the true creator is available now to reconnect with, the Holy Spirit's always been there, right in your heart, and that you're willing to start and learn now and try to put fear and any negative feeling that's stopping you from living and loving, if you're willing to really step farther and farther away from that, then you're totally on your way to heaven on earth. And of course, that comes with loving each other as, we love ourselves. And a lot of us don't necessarily love ourselves. So that is so healing, to learn how to love yourself again. Smiling at others, not being so cynical anymore, not feeling like everybody's going to hurt us, because they're not anymore. We're all going to work to start loving ourselves again. And in that process, we're going to stop hurting each other. And we're going to learn, it's not always going to be easy. But we can bypass a lot of that by just reconnecting to source. And while I understand there's a lot of confusion with what happened with the demiurge and Adam and Eve, and the information that I have is that the demiurge was created with Adam and Eve using the essence of the true God. It was not the original, they were not the original human beings. I think we all can have come to somewhat of that conclusion by now. And, Many of us were here before that took place. This earth is 10,000 years old. That took place 6,000 years ago or so. And I guess I would be what you consider a Gnostic Christian, but at the same time, I don't label myself. I'm a follower of Jesus. I'm a follower of the Holy Spirit, who is the original Jesus, who is the first begotten child of God, and who has come here in the flesh, and who is here now in the flesh in so many. I've known that, this our whole lives, that the 144,000 spoken of, and you hear about 7 sisters, you hear about all these different numbers. All I know is that I'm here representing God. There's no doubt about it. I can't wait to meet my brothers and sisters, or who would be considered the disciples. I can't wait to learn more and understand more. I know the information is out there, and I'm overloaded with information daily, so I do that to myself, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel so grateful that I can bring truth to people right now, and I think it's going to make all the difference in the world, because I think then we all go on I've worked really hard the past 3 years to reconnect and purify and all of these things so that I can move into a new world that I knew that I came here for. I knew I came here to be a part of that. And no longer are we going to be held down and disregarded and stolen from. That's all coming to an end. So I can't wait to connect with all of the 144,000 and beyond. From what I understand, okay, yes, so these are the sentient beings that have more than, that have come with spirit and heart intact. And that doesn't make anybody better than anybody else. How many more people since we showed up have reconnected and are reconnecting now? There was a lot of manipulation done, and we know that, but we are completely immune to it now. And more than anything, it's leaving our system, because 6,000 years ago, iron was added to the human psyche, which cut us off. The prison, the matrix prison, is made of iron. So now that that's being removed from our consciousness, removed from our system, and if you look, you'll see it in the less expensive foods. You see it added for no reason. And so just like fluoride, it's the same kind of idea. So these things were put in place, and they are leaving our systems. They have been leaving our systems for 30 plus years, because they weren't supposed to be there. And we overcome, as human beings, we overcome these things eventually. And yes, of course, we know about the manipulation to try to keep that from happening. But we've overcome, all wars have been won, and that's it, literally. We're starting the new earth. We're here. I'm hoping it doesn't take everyone too long to catch up. I'm hoping that everyone can just open up their minds a little bit, and regardless of where this world has taken you, know that you can put all that aside right now and make the dream become reality. Because it was a pretty bad dream for us collectively. It's a collective dream that we're all having, and it's really cool. It's like a happenstance experiment, if you want to put it that way. And I might be off base saying that, but that's the best way that I know to put it out there. That might even be a narrative of the Antichrist. But, within all of these half-truths, you can find truth. And that's where the search begins. That's where you go on a journey and you trust and you have hope, you're going to find the answers. They're all in your heart. As soon as you come across them, boom, 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 you reconnect to spirit more and more and more. So just thought I'd put that out there and let you know that everything's going to be okay, and that you can like literally start fresh right now. Sins are all forgiven, all of that. The Holy Spirit is here pouring her spirit on us right now. And it's just going to continue to get more and more amazing. But I know that there are people suffering, still suffering. And I'm not talking about, that we don't have like necessarily money or exactly what we want. It's going to take time to get things worked out to be, or not, it really doesn't have to take that much time. But I'm hoping for a huge part of this collective consciousness to become much more as a one. I just want us to live in harmony, and I think that that's completely possible. I don't think that it will be hard at all. I think that we're on our own individual journeys, but if it's hurting somebody else, if it's causing somebody else suffering, pain, oppression, if it's a lie to try to prevent the ascension from taking place, then I really say it has to go. It's time to find another way. And lying is not the way. Cheating, scheming, hurting, judging, exalting, none of that is the way. That's out of, the ones that are here. That's pretty much out of our control. We're answering to the higher realms, and the higher realms are giving fair warning that that stuff's not going to work anymore. So I love you all. I hope this reaches you well, and I'll talk to you all soon. Much love.